I guess we are live once again. I guess through the power of the internet. Hi everyone, Robert here, and welcome to the Impact Wrestling Review. This is the Impact Wrestling Under Pressure Review. This show was recorded May 31st, 2018. So let's start the review. So the show started with Sonjay Dutt with his battle buddy Petey Williams talking to the Impact roster. Inquiring minds want to know why have people been attacked by a mysterious attacker backstage. So he is just letting people know, talking about the subject, and maybe, just maybe, they will find the person who is doing it. And I'm gonna be talking about this angle a little bit later, but we may have to, call Alex Jones or something, because this is a big big conspiracy going on Impact Wrestling. So we're headed with the first match of the night: Eli Drake versus Big Papa Pump at Scott Steiner. And this match was not good. This was not a good look for Impact Wrestling, especially as the opening match of the show. But I may need to play a little bit of devil's advocate, because if you know the way Impact Wrestling record their tapings, they do it, in a package. So Scott Steiner, who, may I remind you, is like 55 years old, during the span of 4 to 5 days, he wrestled LAX at the pay-per-view. He wrestled once again LAX at the TV tapings. He wrestled DJC and Andrew Everett at the TV tapings, and now he wrestled Eli Drake. I guess, shout out to the truck behind me. So I guess that is too much to ask for someone who is that old. Maybe Impact Wrestling wouldn't be in that position if Chris Adonis would not have left. Maybe this was the original plan, or maybe they were expecting a little bit too much out of Scott Steiner. One thing that I may need to put over is the finish. I like the way Impact did it by having the same thing that happened during the first breakup, the same angle as obviously the finish of the match. That is consistent. That is something that I did like. However, I may need to be a little bit more negative, just for the sake of being fair and balanced. I'm not a big fan of these types of angles when obviously there is the referee. You could see it over there on your screen. And obviously, it is not that far away from the head of Scott Steiner, the one that received this church shot. Therefore, you should assume that the referee heard a church shot. But he didn't wonder who did it or anything like that. He just, I'm just doing my job by counting, and that's it. I found this hard to believe. Like, referee doesn't have any sort of skepticism towards what happens in the ring. I would have rather do that with the referee on the other side of the ring, outside, so it is easier to believe that he's unconscious over there and he didn't hurt anything. This is just a little bit of a detail. And remember, guys, the devil is in the details. Second match of the night, we got the second match by Tessa Blanchard. This time around, she's against a former champion, Madison Rayne, someone who haven't wrestled in Impact Wrestling in almost a year. something along those lines. A good match, a good showcase of the attitude that Tessa Blanchard have got herself over by doing that type of roughing you up type of style of professional wrestling. What did surprise me is that she lost, and she lost clean to Madison Rayne. That brings more questions than answers. And may I need to say something? I'm now figuring out like a pattern in Impact Wrestling booking. There is a method to the madness. So it looks like the new booking team of Impact Wrestling are fans of bringing in a hot heel, doing a big match versus a babyface, but at the end of the day, the babyface doesn't go all the way and he doesn't get his ways at the first time he goes for the show, the big win. So I'm seeing the same pattern now with Tessa Blanchard and with Young. By the way, Tessa Blanchard, as far as we know, she doesn't have a contract with World Wrestling Entertainment. And you heard, if you saw my earlier video, that we talk about all the latest and greatest Impact Wrestling news that you need to know, to know before watching this show, is that Charlotte Flair won Tessa Blanchard. And you know that is girl. That is also the girl of Vince McMahon. And whatever Charlotte wants is whatever Charlotte gets. So I'm not counting with Tessa Blanchard for the long run. I think she's gonna be just like Cody Rhodes. He's gonna be here for a cup of tea, and then she might leave unless things happen and her mentality changes, and maybe the offer done by World Wrestling Entertainment is not what she's earning in Impact Wrestling plus the indies. Next, we got one of my favorite segments, and now we even have a nickname for Kingston. He's now known as El Consul Eddie Kingston. Holy cow! This guy nailed it. This I knew he was doing kind of like the Latin mafia, the Latin, gangsta thing, in the indies with homicide. But I was not that sure how will he translate on the big screen, on the TV. But holy cow, was I impressed or what? This guy nails it as the consular of the Impact Wrestling Mafia, that is the Latin American Exchange, LAX. So now I'm looking forward more than ever into this new twist into the life, this new life of LAX with El Consul, Eddie Edwards. Next, we got the third match of the night, who, in my humble opinion, should have opened the show. We got number one contender spot for the exhibition title. We got Brian Cage, the Machine, versus Desmond Xavier. Obviously, you know what you are getting into. Fast-paced, athletic type of match, but you knew the fate that it was gonna be happening. Brian Cage was able to hit his drill claw on Desmond Xavier, and that is it. So the new number one contenders, new number one contender person, Brian Cage. So I guess he will wrestle in this set of tapings versus Matt Sydal. So I'm looking forward to that match and see who is gonna show up at the new set of tapings. Next, we got the weirdo match of the evening. We got Allie, the knockout champion, versus Su Young on a casket match. That is a last right match. The second one, with the first one being Abyss versus Sting. Good match. And I think the way you should judge and see this match is not necessarily as a sport competition, just like all the other matches on this show, but as a theater, a live theater, something that you are able to see like a live movie. This was more not as a competition, but as a spectacle type of match. So that obviously brought in a whole new flavor to this show. And by the way, the winner and Su Young, new knockout champion Su Young, by throwing Allie into the casket. One thing that I like that not a lot of people may get or understand is that obviously Allie was a clean cut babyface. But since Su Young, destroyed her best friend Rosemary, Allie went dark. She let all her dark feelings flourish to obviously her personality being upfront. But however, she lost even though she used more of a darker side. She went with the dark heart, which that teaches the lesson. You are the best version of yourself. You cannot outdo someone else being that person. The best Allie is Allie. The best Rosemary is not Allie. So that is one twist that I like. Who will be seen the same spot and same type of philosophy behind repeating themselves during the feud between Sammy Callahan and Eddie Edwards? Now, that is a question that might be answered next week when they are gonna be wrestle each other. So good match, and obviously I'm looking forward what is gonna be the new twist Su Young is gonna bring to the table, and obviously we are expecting the big match, Su Young versus Rosemary. Hopefully that happens on Bound for Glory. So we're going not for the fast 1 mile run, but we're going all the way to the 5K. Next, we got the conspiracy segment. The conspiracy. Let's. So, Sanjay Dutt was attacked backstage by the mysterious ex attacker. And who was there? Conveniently, may I remind you, Petey Williams. And on top of that, there was a cameraman, recording. And Petey Williams told the camera guy, "Hey, why are you recording this? I'm bothered that you are recording this." So, we got someone looking very suspicious being Petey Williams. Why would a clean person, someone that doesn't have to do anything with the beatdown, be concerned about a recording? Only bad things happen in the darkness, not in the cheered light of the sunrise. That is a saying, right? So who might be behind the mysterious X attack? It is Petey Williams. It is Relic, It is Black Rain. It is the Illuminati. It is the Freemasons are the reptilians. Who is behind this big conspiracy? Do you have any clue? Make sure let me know in the comment section below. So we have suspicious person number one, Petey Williams, and we need to get at the bottom of this conspiracy. So we're headed for the main event. Main event time. We got for the Impact World Champion World Title. We got Pentagon Jr. versus Austin Aries. A good match, solid match, especially knowing that this match was recorded after Impact Wrestling Redemption, the pay-per-view that was recorded that Monday after. So obviously they were a little bit beat down, but they managed to put I think 15 minutes long match. I think 15 or 17 minutes. So is a long ass time for a TV match, and they did obviously a couple of false finishes around the match, false stop until the last second when Austin Aries was able to successfully hit with the Brain Buster on Pentagon Jr. And that was it. A new Impact Wrestling World Champion, Austin Aries, the greatest man that ever lived. Solid match. Obviously, I didn't want him to lose the title back in Redemption, but they basically did a test run with Pentagon Jr. as the world champion. It At the end of the day, it didn't hurt, but it didn't help either. I saw it like a transitional champion, a neutral type of talent due to the stakes that Impact Wrestling were in as they were rebranding and trying to make their all audience, their loyal fan base, fall in love with them once again. So I need to talk about for a second things that are on like the dirty laundry and stuff like that, and basic criticism towards the show. Number one, I think the show was missing heavyweights. I think they might need to do some stuff with the big guys that they have on the roster. Hopefully, they fix that wrong on the next set of tapings that is happening as we speak. And by the way, do not share on Twitter the spoilers. If you're gonna read it, keep it to yourself. Two eyes only. Don't share it with the world because that kills the fun for a lot of people. I don't fuck. I don't care. But there are people that get triggered by that type of stuff. So that would be one of my big criticisms toward this show as something that you're building towards doing something that is gonna be making money in the future. We might need to do and use more heavyweights. And number two, you might need to work a little bit on what is gonna be opening the show. I think Steiner opening the show after wrestling, 4 matches in 5 days. It's not a good idea. You're throwing him into the lions. You don't do that with your talent. You don't do that with the people that you appreciate. And there might be other explanation behind it. There might be running low on talent for the tapings, and I guess they did have to use him more than they have suspected. But hopefully, for either the next big TV show or the next pay-per-view, we might need to get a little bit more of the heavyweights. We need to get a little bit on Moose, a little bit of either Abyss or Congo Kong. We need more size on this show. So let me take a little bit of a look on the chat room for a second. Let me change the situation. Oh, we got one of our loyal guys. We got Coolmine 952 saying, "Hey, this was a decent show." Yeah, don't get it twisted. This was not necessarily like a bad show. This was I would say a 8.5. If you were judging it right as a TV special, I would say a 8.5 type of show, maybe an 8. It all depends. I saw the show once and I saw like a rerun on YouTube. I usually watch the show twice before doing the review, but I don't have that much time. And this is the third trying to record this show, so I decided to fuck it and go live. Join me, join me on Twitter at Wrestling Robber. Join me on the fun every single Wednesday live for an Impact Wrestling discussion of the week that happen one live every single Wednesday. So please subscribe if you are interested in that. If you are a first time subscriber, a first time watcher, let me know what you like about this review, what you don't like about this review. I have a thick skin. I don't get triggered or get offended or anything like that. I just do this out of appreciation for Impact Wrestling, and obviously because I might know a thing or two about Impact Wrestling and professional wrestling in general, and I want to let the people and the world know about all of this. I don't do this out of ego or anything like that, but I have been watching the analytics on this channel, and the people who are watching my videos are enjoying it more than ever. So I thank you for putting up with me. I'm seeing like more than half of the people that click on the video, watch it all the way to the end. So I feel very happy about that. So Wednesday, make sure you join me on the fun live talking about Impact Wrestling. I will always have the chat room open, and if you want to do a Q&A section, I'm gonna be doing one once we reach the 300 subscriber mark. I'm also planning to do a live calling show, but I don't have a working US phone line that I could just use for this channel, but I'm most likely gonna be doing that near the future. I'm looking to do that and put this show and make this show even more convenient for you to watch. So that is it for me. Thank you a lot to everyone who is joining me in the chat room. I got a couple of people in the chat room. Let me watch them before I go. I got MC10 Man. He's one of those guys that also do Impact Wrestling review. If you haven't seen this guy, he's another beast. He's not like your usual reviewer. He's like a person without filter, and that is what makes him fun. He is even more passionate than me about Impact Wrestling. When you believe that, this guy is even more hardcore. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm not 100% sure, but I think he might have like a eye impediment, and if I'm not mistaken, he have like a machine putting his saying like his notes to him, and he speak it all the way to you. It's a whole nother ball game. If you haven't seen that his stuff, check it out. It is way different. It is not your usual cookie cutter type of deal. And this guy is even more passionate than I am. This guy is, 100%, Impact Wrestling, you know, supporter. But at the same time, if he have to give them tough love, he give them tough love. So yeah, I understand what you're saying, MC Tan man. I I, I usually I don't like those guys wrestle talk, but I like to do, how can I say, I like to do jump cuts because people keep watching longer when you do jump cuts. But I don't like to do those bad jokes, especially those type of jokes. I have heard it thousand times. They, and I'm, let's take my glasses off and take you the real truth, right? We're going there. We're going there. It. I'm gonna use the word bourgeois. Bourgeois. If you know what is a bourgeois, if you ever heard about, any type of hard leftist nonsense, whatever. But the way they see things is that they see the big rich guy, they see the bourgeois like the upper middle class people, and then you see the working class people, and then the poor people, right? And the type of way some of these reviewers talk to the working class people, who, by the way, that is the wrestling audience. The wrestling audience is a working class people. And the way they review the show, let's say, is not necessarily an attack on the show, but basically a critique of the working class people. But you just may need to pay attention to the type of language they are using. It comes across, hey, aristocratic, like you are saying, like they are watching from the type where, oh, these working class people watching this trash, ha ha ha, I'm so smarter than them. It comes across on this, and the guy from Wrestle Talk, he's, you know, he's guilty. He's patient number one when it comes down to that disease. That's why I don't watch it. I don't want you to watch it if you don't, don't ask me about them. It's because of that. That goes. If it is like that way I'm saying things, it is not necessarily as an attack, but more, oh, hey, I am smarter than you. Shut up, you fucking peasants. That is the way they come across, and they are not the only one. And why would I watch a review that they are talking down to your audience, or some type of news that they're talking down to you? Of course, don't put your time and attention to that. If you want to be mistreated, then go ahead and do it. But I don't support that, and I will never support that type of stuff. So, NC Tanman is saying, hey, he's legally blind. Oh, and he have a speech reader that dictate the notes that he takes from Impact Wrestling Review. So this man is putting the effort, the work into doing the show and doing reviews. So telling you, telling you, he's one of those guys that you need to, to to watch. And he's saying, hey, imagine Stephanie McMahon doing a Raw review. Yeah, that is, I think that is the same way they see themselves, as the McMahon family, like they're above everybody else, and you just, talking down to you little peasants. And that is something, by the way, that I should be, I may need to remind to everyone who watches Impact Wrestling. I have been watching Impact Wrestling, I think, since 2005, since they started on Spike TV, and I have never seen them do that type of stuff. Like they are talking down to their audience as for real. Hey, They might have done this as, part of a wrestling angle, but never as something as corporate as that. They have always have the eyes and their ears open for us, the little people, the little people of the internet, to listen to us. Sometimes they agree, sometimes they disagree, but at least they're willing to listen to us, the fans. So that is something that you might need to keep yourself in mind. So I guess that's it. Let's cut this one short. I have been live for half an hour. So I guess it is time to go home. I need to do a little 2 mile run. I might need to work on it. I'm like 1 minute behind, but I'm almost there. So that's it for me. Thank you to everybody who has joined me on the fun. Make sure to share this show with your friends, with your enemies, with your girlfriend, with your ex-girlfriend, who with anyone. Share it around. Let me, let me reach more people. That is all that I'm asking you. So thanks everybody who's putting up with me for half an hour. So I will see you this Wednesday with the news and the preview from Impact Wrestling, from the fallout of Under Pressure. That is gonna be the 7, Thursday 7. So Wednesday 6, we're gonna be live. So that's it. Goodbye and thanks for